This is the 3D VIEW-MASTER Showtime, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Paul Revere's Other Right, an NBC television series. VIEW-MASTER Reel 1. Picture 1. Johnny had written a skit about the American Revolution for his history class. He and his pal Scott were rehearsing their lines in the clubhouse. Johnny was dressed in colonial clothes like Sam Adams, Scott like Paul Revere. "Any news from Boston?" Johnny asked. "Yes, Samuel," Scott replied. "The arrangements are all made. The signal will be sent from the North Church Tower." Picture 2. "What is the signal?" Johnny asked. "1, if the British come by land," Scott told him. 2, if by sea. "Are the lanterns ready, Samuel?" "This one is," Johnny said. "Your son is bringing another from the stable." Hearing that, Sigmund stumbled through the door and shouted, "Hi, Dad, it's me, your son. I've got the other lamp." Picture 3. Sheldon, the genie who lived in the conch shell on the table, was unable to get any rest with all the noise going on around him. "Hey," he growled, "can't a fella have some peace and quiet? I'm a growing boy and need my sleep." "You better come out, Sheldon. I think we're going to need you," Sigmund said. Picture 4. "Oh, very well, if you insist," the genie said. "But for heaven's sake, what's going on? Why are you all dressed up like that? I've seen some real weirders in my day, but you take the cake." "Well," Scott explained, "we're doing a skit on the midnight ride of Paul Revere, and we need someone to play the horse. I was always good at horsing around," Sheldon whinnied. "Any other problems?" "Now that you mention it, yes," Scott continued. "Was Paul Revere a blacksmith or a silversmith?" Picture 5. "History's not my best subject," Sheldon confessed. "Tell you what I'll do. I'll put the old whammy on Paul and you can ask him yourself." Picture 6. There was a blinding flash, a wham, and no sooner said than done. There he was, Paul Revere in the flesh. So he looked kind of funny without his horse. "Sorry about that," Sheldon sighed. "The old whammy's getting a bit rusty." Paul Revere was still crying, to arms, as he entered the 20th century. Picture 7. Realizing they'd changed the course of history, the boys urged the sea genie to send the midnight rider back to Concord and Lexington. "Hurry, Sheldon," they cried. "Paul has to warn the townspeople that the British are coming." Sheldon tried and tried again, but to no avail. "My whammy's gone clammy. Must be a short circuit somewhere," he said. VIEW-MASTER Reel 2. Picture 1. Revere, believing that he was still in Boston and that he had accidentally stumbled upon some British spies, rushed out of the clubhouse and down the street, where he continued to shout, To arms! The British are coming!" The Revolutionary War hero was so preoccupied, however, that he failed to see a Volkswagen sedan as it came around the corner. He was nearly run over. Picture 2. "What was that monstrosity?" Revere asked. "It tried to run me down," Scott told him. "It was nothing unusual. Just an automobile," he said. "An auto what? Who?" Paul asked. "I've never heard of one. And, say, where am I? This doesn't look like Boston." Picture 3. The boys took Mr. Revere by the arm and led him into Johnny's house for a drink of water. But even that was confusing. He'd never seen a television set, and they were just in time for the news. "Dateline London," said the TV newsman. "Today is the Queen's birthday, and the British are coming from all over the world to celebrate the event." Picture 4. "Did you hear that? I trust you are satisfied. I've been trying to tell you they were coming," Paul shouted. And with that said, he dashed from the house and jumped on Johnny's bike. "I'd rather ride my horse, but I guess this will do. I must warn the countryside." Picture 5. Paul was not exactly an expert bike rider. He couldn't have gone more than a block, maybe 2, when he crashed into a trash can. Fortunately, Johnny and Scott were there to pick him up. Picture 6. The sea genie, in the meantime, had crawled back into his shell to recharge his batteries, he said. Sigmund was trying his best to get him out. "Come on out, Sheldon. You've just got to pull yourself together. You've got to get Mr. Revere back to 1775 before he's killed in a traffic accident." Picture 7. "Knack, knack, knack. Sigmund, that's all I ever get from you," Sheldon said as he stretched out inside his shell. "I get no respect. I'll come out as soon as my powers build up again. Now be a good boy and go help Scott and Johnny." VIEW-MASTER Reel 3. Picture 1. The sea monsters, Slurp, Blurp, Big Daddy and Sweet Mama, sneaked into the clubhouse as soon as Sigmund was out of sight. "I've been waiting to get my hands on this shell for a long time," Big Daddy said. "I wonder how its magic works." "I don't know," Slurp admitted, "but I bet we can find out back at the cave." "Yeah," Big Daddy agreed. "Be careful, will ya, dummy? You almost dropped it." Picture 2. The boys were bringing Paul back to the house just then. He was, as you can see here, still a bit dazed, but the housekeeper, Zelda, thought he was cute. "Say, who are you?" she asked him. "I'm Paul Revere," he said. "Sure," Zelda nodded knowingly, thinking he was an actor. "You're Paul Revere and I'm the Queen of Sheba." Picture 3. After their meeting with the housekeeper, Paul and the 2 boys headed for the clubhouse, where they learned the seashell was missing. "I don't know where it could have gone," Sigmund said. The boys immediately joined Sigmund in the seashell search. Paul, however, was far more interested in the TV set. Picture 4. "Hey, you guys, I think I've got it figured out," Johnny said. "Look at this. Seaweed." Big Daddy was here. Then, seeing Paul glued to the TV set, Johnny decided to tell it like it is. "If we don't get the shell back, Paul, we won't get the genie back. And without him, you'll never get back to Boston." Picture 5. The boys then raced for the cave in which the slimy sea monsters lived. When they got there, they were surprised to find the place deserted. They grabbed the seashell, shook it once or twice to be sure that Sheldon was still hiding in it, then ran as fast as their feet would carry them back to the clubhouse. When they were safely inside their own hideout, Sheldon suddenly appeared, saying, "Here I am, fit as a fiddle, hot off the griddle. Your wish is my command." Picture 6. "I wish you'd send Paul back to New England," Scott told him, "because if you don't, America will probably be a British colony for keeps." "Okay, I'm all recharged and ready to go," the genie assured them, winding up for what would be his most important whammy. "Goodbye, Mr. Revere. It's been good to know you. Sigmund said. They all shook hands, and then, wham, bam, the hero of the revolution was gone. Picture 7. What about it, fellas? Anyone else for Bunker Hill? The genie asked. At first the boys thought Sheldon was kidding. Then, realizing he was serious, Sigmund said he'd take the genie back to the sea. Nothing personal, Sheldon, he said. That's the way it has to be. As they left, Scott told Johnny, it's going to be awful quiet round here without old Sheldon and Paul Revere. We want to add new videos every day, so please subscribe to our channel.
And if you had fun, thumbs up.